Hello everyone, how are you doing today? So we're going to talk about the smaller coins if you're hunting. Last one I did was about 50-cent pieces. Now if you're hunting pennies, this is what you want to find, wheat pennies. This one's this one's pretty pitted and stuff, but it is 26 I think. Oh, that's totally beat up. But you want to find wheat pennies with this back. They're most of them are not real valuable. There are some key date ones, these 50s, so like a lot of them are 50s or 40s. They're not particularly super valuable, but and you may even want to find the pre 1981 memorials because they're all copper, and the amount of copper in a penny is worth more than what the actual penny will spend for. So there's always that to keep in mind. Uh, on key dates for wheat pennies, they have to be in generally good circulation, very little. If they're heavily circulated like most of these are and got quite a bit of wear, they're not going to be worth a whole lot. So keep your expectations low there. If you do happen to find some that are like look like they've never seen any circulation, then they're worth a little bit. Now, moving on to talk about nickels. Um, what can you usually expect to get? Well, what you want to find are ones like these. This is a war nickel. Has the big mint mark over the top of the dome. That's exactly what you want to find. This one is an S mint one. Um, most of them I have down here are Philadelphia mint ones, and they have a P over the dome. Um, they're not super valuable. The melt is over $1 recently, but I just bought some from my coin dealer for 90 cents a piece, so don't expect them to be real valuable. Now, if you happen to find one of these that isn't all blacked out and worn out, it could be worth a few dollars. So, and they made them for a few years, so they're out there, and I've found some in change before, so you can find some of these. It's not a whole lot. Hello, Laura, how are you doing? You don't expect to find a whole lot of these in circulation, but if you can find some really old rolls of nickels, you might. And this is what they'll kind of look like on the side, kind of dark, almost like this one over here is kind of black. So that's what you want to find if you're looking for nickels. Now, for dimes, covered pennies already. Dimes, what you're most likely to find if you find any silver are Roosevelt dimes, pre 64, well 64 or older. This is a 64. It's a D. I'm not sure if it'll focus, but the D marks right here by the torch handle. But they're not. This is a 48, I think. But anyway, these are worth recently around $2 a piece, in a little bit less than silver melt, but they trade at a slight premium. Although of all the dimes, they're the least premium. Now, the reason why you might find some of these is because they don't look a whole lot different than the Roosevelt dime in your pocket right now. You can look at the rim, you won't see the copper. If they're dirty enough, though, it'd be hard to tell a difference. This one's starting to get kind of dirty. You can't see the clean silver side. Now, if you happen to find some mercury dimes, you'll be kind of happy. Now, you probably won't find too many mercury dimes. The sole reason that mercury dimes look a lot different than, and there's a lot of coin collectors, so that every time they get changed, they're looking at what they got and searching for in case one of these actually do get out in the change. So these two are, the first year they made them, not super high mintage probably, but I don't know that for sure. I can't remember The 16D is real low mintage. If you ever found one of them in your change or a roll of dimes, you'd been real lucky. I mean, real lucky. And there might, like I said, hello, old coin country coin collector. You might find Buffalo nickels too. And if they have the date on, they're really only a conversation piece. They're not really worth anything at that point because you don't know what you got. Now, moving on to quarters. If you search quarters, you kind of hope to find 64 and older Washington quarters like this. It's a 64D. If you get anything older like 57, like this one, and it's also a D. But if you get one this old, you got pretty lucky. But these are only worth about $4 at melt. And if you were to buy them from a coin dealer, you'd probably pay about $5 for them, probably, maybe a little more. I have gotten at least 10 of these in my change over the years, so they do get out occasionally, but it's not very often. Now, if you get real lucky, you might find a standing Liberty. But again, a lot of people are coin collectors, and if this is in my change, I'm going to notice it. As well, most people will because the design is different. Now, they first made these in 1932 with this design. And so there's quite a few years they made of these, and a lot of people have rolls of them. And if they die and the people who they left them to don't know that they're actually worth more, they could get taken down to the bank or just spent in change and get out that way. Now $half, the 64 Kennedy is probably what you want to find the most of. They don't circulate very often, so if you ever go to the bank and say you got any 50-cent rolls and they pull up one that looks like it's been rolled for 40 or 50 years, the paper's yellowing and starting to wear out, that might be one to say, I'll take that roll and go with it. Because it could have been rolled by somebody 30, 40 years ago who didn't think too much about the silver. Now finding a Benjamin Franklin or a Walker is probably pretty low. But 65 to 1970, they were made in 40% silver, so you wouldn't probably be happy to find that too. Now, probably not in circulation very much are 40% bicentennial coins. They made the quarters, the halves, and dollars in 40%. The Ike dollar. They made Ike dollars in 40% before that, but they were, special mint products. Unlikely to get broken out of the mint packaging too much and then be out in the circulation. Every once in a blue moon, I'll go to the bank and ask them if they have any dollar coins, and they'll have Eisenhower's. I got a bicentennial one not too long ago. But this is the kind of stuff you want to find if you're doing a coin roll hunt. But keep your expectations a little bit low. If you order wheat pennies, rolls of wheat pennies offline, they say they're unsearched. It probably means that somebody collected wheat pennies and threw them in a bucket or something. And then when they died, their family didn't want them. They took them to a coin dealer, and the coin dealer's sitting around looking at the bucket of pennies thinking, I don't really feel like searching all these. It's painstaking. Hundreds and hundreds of wheat pennies trying to find a key date one, or, teens or 20s. You might find one, but how much work do you want to put into it? Now, you want to get a few rolls and search them with your kids or something and have fun. That's different. Have fun. Just keep your expectations low because a lot of what you'll see is 50s and 40s, some 30s, probably not a whole lot of 20s or teens. And that's really the ones you want to find the most of because I believe the 20s and teens are about the only place there's really any key date ones. I think Most of these, well, this is a 1919. And generally, you can tell when you have an older one like this because it just looks way worn out more than a 40s or 50 ones. Like this is a 56. It's got a little wear, but it's a lot less. And but people been coin collecting for since the 50s apparently, or the interest in it has grown since the 50s. And there's probably at least a million people who actively collect coins in the country, maybe more. I really don't know how many there is. But because of that, certain coins, if they're low enough numbers, they're probably mostly held by collectors, and you're not likely to find them in a row at random. So that's another thing to keep into account. How many people collect coins, you know, in change, back in 1945 when they last made these war nickels. I don't know how long it took before they started going out of circulation. And, these have been circulated quite a bit. I mean, they're heavily worn, so they've seen a lot of circulation. And I don't know when it was people really started, oh, wait, that's silver. And started pulling them out of circulation and rolling them up or just collecting them. So, and the thing about standing liberties, they were made right up until the beginning of the Depression, 1930. By then, it's the middle of the early part of the Depression, and a lot of unemployment. If you had 25 cents and you had a family, you were going to spend it on food to eat. So it was hard times. Now, after 1932, they started making these. So all the way up until World War II, these probably got a lot of circulation too, although these aren't old enough. But I mean, the oldest one's a 57. So, 1932 ones, so 32 S and D are real low mintage, but the 32 they made quite a bit, and then they started making them again in 34, and they made them ever since. So there's a lot of silver quarters been minted. A lot of people have rolls of them. Lots of quarters. I have a roll started up, up in my collection. I think I have a full roll, and I have another roll. It's about 675. I've got 40% Kennedys and rolls, like 3 or 4 of them. I think it's 4 rows of those. Might be 3. I can't really remember. And then I've got a roll of 90% hats, which I talked about in the last live stream about coin roll hunting. But, have fun with it. But, if you go down and you get $500 worth of dimes to search, and you start searching them, that's 5,000 coins. That's a lot of coins to look through. You're going to be tired by the time you get done doing that coin hunt. So it's like, I don't expect to find very many of these. And if I went and got a roll of dimes, I would not really expect to even find one silver dime. If I did, I'd consider myself pretty lucky. And same thing with quarters. I've gotten, like I said, 10 of these and change, around 10, including at least one 1932 one, which was kind of cool. But I've never, ever been handed quarters and change and got one of these standing liberties, or barbers for that matter. Or, that goes for barber dimes and quarters as well. I've never been given change and had a barber dime. Now, recently, I did find in my can of coins of modern circulated coins a 1950D, which I looked at and said, I do not remember seeing this. So I got lucky and found one. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream for now, and I hope you guys have a good day.